Welcome to Unfiltered Reflections. I'm your host, Passion, and today we're diving deep into the quiet hours, the moments when most of the world is asleep, but you might be wide awake. We're going to talk about something that affects millions of us, whether we're a nurse on the graveyard shift, a new parent soothing a crying baby, a student cramming for an exam, or just someone who finds themselves staring at the ceiling when the moon is high. We're exploring the night shift conundrum, but it's a story that's much bigger than just a job title. It's about the silent, invisible dance happening inside every single one of us. Every single day, the dance of our circadian rhythm. And more importantly, we're going to talk about what happens when that dance is interrupted, when the music stops, and our bodies are left confused and out of sync. This isn't just a conversation about sleep. It's a conversation about the fundamental rhythm of life itself, and how our modern world is pushing us further and further away from it, with consequences that ripple through every aspect of our health and well-being. Let's start with a feeling. It's a feeling I think we can all recognize, regardless of our age, our job, or where we live. It's that sensation of being fundamentally out of step. It's the mental fog that won't lift, the bone-deep weariness that a strong cup of coffee can't seem to touch. It's the irritability that bubbles up over nothing, the feeling of being emotionally fragile, like a pane of glass ready to shatter. We often chalk it up to a bad night's sleep, or stress, or just one of those days. But what if it's something more profound? What if it's a sign that the very core of our biological operating system is being thrown into chaos? This is the human experience of circadian disruption. It's the universal struggle between the demands of our lives and the ancient, non-negotiable needs of our bodies. Think about our ancestors for a moment. For thousands upon thousands of years, the human experience was dictated by a simple, powerful rhythm, the rising and setting of the sun. Light meant activity, hunting, gathering, community. Darkness meant rest, safety, repair, and storytelling around a fire. This cycle wasn't just a convenience, it was the metronome that our entire biology evolved to follow. Our hormones, our digestion, our cell repair, our brain function, everything was hardwired to this celestial clock. Light was the on switch. Darkness was the off switch. It was a simple, elegant, and incredibly effective system. Now fast forward to today. We live in a 24/7 society. We have conquered the night with the flick of a switch. Our cities blaze with light, our screens glow with an artificial dawn, and our work, social lives, and worries often bleed deep into the hours that were once reserved for absolute darkness and rest. We see this as progress, as a triumph of human ingenuity over the limitations of nature. But in this victory, we may have forgotten a crucial truth. You can take the human out of the ancestral environment, but you can't take the ancestral environment's programming out of the human. If you spend just 2 hours awake between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. for only 2 days a week over the course of a year, you are essentially functioning as a chronic shift worker. Think about that. That's not just the ER doctor or the factory worker. That's the parent with a sick child. That's the person who stays up late to catch up on work emails. That's the teenager scrolling through social media until 1 a.m. That's the person who suffers from insomnia and paces the halls. We have, in many ways, all become inadvertent shift workers, and our bodies are paying the price. At the very heart of this issue is a tiny miraculous part of our brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, located in the hypothalamus. You can think of it as the master conductor of a grand orchestra. This is our master clock. Every organ, every tissue, every single cell in your body has its own little clock, its own little musician waiting for its cue. Your liver has a clock that tells it when to process nutrients. Your pancreas has a clock that tells it when to release insulin. Your immune system has a clock that tells it when to be on high alert. But all these little clocks, all these individual musicians, are useless without the conductor. They need the SCN, the master clock, to wave its baton and keep them all playing in perfect harmony. And what is the most important signal this master conductor listens for? Light. Specifically, the presence and absence of light as detected by special cells in our retinas. When bright, blue spectrum light hits our eyes in the morning, it's like the conductor tapping his baton and shouting, "All right, everyone, time to wake up." Let's play the daytime symphony. This signal travels directly to the SCN, which then sends out a cascade of chemical messages throughout the entire body. It tells the adrenal glands to release cortisol, our wake-up hormone, to give us energy and focus. It suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone of darkness and sleep. It tells our digestive system to get ready for our first meal. The whole system comes online, ready for the day. Conversely, as the sun sets and the light fades, the signal changes. The absence of bright light tells the SCN, okay, show's over for today, time to wind down. Cortisol levels naturally fall. The pineal gland gets the green light to start producing melatonin, which makes us feel drowsy and prepares the body for its critical nighttime repairs. Our body temperature drops slightly. Our digestion slows. The body begins its nightly maintenance cycle. This beautiful, predictable rhythm is what we call circadian entrainment, being in sync with the 24-hour day. The problem, the conundrum of our modern night, is that we are constantly sending our conductor confusing signals. When we turn on bright lights in the evening, when we stare into our phones or laptops late at night, we are blasting our retinas with the very same blue light frequencies that signal morning to our brain. Our poor master clock, the SCN, gets profoundly confused. It thinks, wait, is it morning again? I just started the nighttime protocol. It slams the brakes on melatonin production. It might even nudge the adrenals to release a little more cortisol. The conductor is confused, so the orchestra is confused. Imagine the liver clock. It's getting ready to go into its fasting and repair mode, but suddenly it gets a signal from the confused master clock that it's daytime. And to make matters worse, you decide to have a late-night snack. Now the liver is completely baffled. It's supposed to be resting, but it's being flooded with sugar and fat that it has to process at the wrong biological time. The pancreas is in a similar state of confusion, being asked to produce insulin when its own cellular clock is screaming for it to rest. This is internal chaos. This is what we call circadian disruption. It's not just about feeling tired. It's about a fundamental desynchronization of every system in our body. This is where the fear and anxiety can creep in for many of us. The information we're discussing isn't meant to scare, but to empower through understanding. When we hear that this kind of disruption is linked to an increased risk for a host of serious health issues, it's natural to feel a knot in your stomach. The text mentions cancer, cardiovascular disease, metabolic dysfunction like type 2 diabetes, fertility troubles, and significant impacts on mental health. This isn't a small list. It touches on some of our deepest human fears about our health, our longevity, and our ability to create a family. Let's unpack this a bit, because the why is fascinating and also deeply human. Take the link to cancer. One of melatonin's many jobs, beyond just making us sleepy, is to act as a powerful antioxidant and to help suppress tumor growth. Our bodies have a natural process called apoptosis, or programmed cell death, which gets rid of old or damaged cells before they can become cancerous. Much of this crucial cleanup work is scheduled for the night shift, orchestrated by the circadian clock. When we disrupt that clock with late-night light exposure, we suppress melatonin and interfere with these critical anti-cancer processes. We are essentially canceling the nightly cleaning crew, allowing cellular garbage and potentially dangerous cells to accumulate. The cardiovascular connection is just as logical. Our blood pressure is supposed to naturally dip during the night, giving our heart and blood vessels a much-needed break. This is a core part of the circadian rhythm. When we are awake, active, and stressed during the night, our blood pressure remains elevated. Over time, this chronic lack of a nightly dip puts a huge strain on our entire cardiovascular system, increasing the risk of hypertension, heart attacks, and strokes. It's like forcing an engine to run at high RPMs, 24/7, without ever giving it time for an oil change or a cool down period. Eventually, it's going to break down. And then there's the impact on our metabolism and weight. How many of us have struggled with weight gain and felt like we were doing everything right, eating well, exercising, but the scale just wouldn't budge? We often blame our willpower, but our circadian clock could be a major culprit. When we eat late at night, our bodies are less sensitive to insulin. This means the sugar from our food hangs around in our bloodstream for longer, and our body is more likely to store it as fat. Furthermore, sleep disruption messes with the hormones that control our appetite, ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is the I'm hungry hormone, and leptin is the I'm full hormone. When you're sleep deprived and your circadian rhythm is off, ghrelin levels soar and leptin levels plummet. So you feel hungrier, you crave high carb, high sugar foods for a quick energy hit, and you don't get the signal that you're full. It's a perfect storm for weight gain, and it has nothing to do with being weak willed. It's pure biology. It's a shared human struggle, feeling like your own body is working against you. The emotional toll is perhaps the most immediately relatable aspect for all of us. Circadian disruption and mental health are deeply intertwined. The same brain regions and neurotransmitters that regulate our mood, like serotonin and dopamine, are also heavily influenced by our internal clock. When the clock is out of whack, so is our emotional regulation. This is why a bad night's sleep can leave us feeling anxious, depressed, or unable to cope with the normal stresses of life. The amygdala, our brain's fear and anxiety center, becomes hyperactive when we are sleep deprived. Small problems feel like catastrophes. We lose perspective. We lose hope. This isn't a character flaw. It's a neurological consequence. It's the profound loneliness of feeling emotionally unwell and not understanding why, a feeling that connects so many of us in our quiet moments of struggle. This brings us to the core of the human experience, that this topic touches upon the struggle for balance. We are all trying to balance our responsibilities with our needs, the need to provide for our family versus the need for rest, the desire for connection and social life versus the need for restorative solitude, the ambition to achieve our goals versus the biological limits of our own bodies. The night shift conundrum is the ultimate metaphor for this struggle. The nurse who chooses to work overnight to save lives is making a noble sacrifice, but that sacrifice has a biological cost. The single parent working 2 jobs, one during the day and one at night, is doing what they must to survive, but their health is on the line. We need to build a bridge of empathy here. It's easy to say, well, just go to bed earlier, but for so many, it is not that simple. Life is complicated. Our modern economy is built on this 24-hour cycle. We need people to work in hospitals, to drive trucks through the night, to keep the power grids running, to stock the shelves of our grocery stores. These are the people who keep our world turning while we sleep. And then there are the life stages that are inherently disruptive, the chaos of having a newborn, for example. No new parent is choosing to be awake at 3 a.m., but it's a non-negotiable part of the job. They are caught in a biological bind, their love for their child pitted directly against their own body's need for rhythm. The core message, the central insight I want you to carry away from our conversation today, is one of empowerment, not despair. It's this: your circadian rhythm is a powerful, fundamental force for health, and while the modern world constantly tries to disrupt it, you have more power than you think to protect it. The first step is awareness. It's understanding that the fatigue, the mood swings, the health challenges you might be facing aren't necessarily your fault. They are a logical consequence of a mismatch between your ancient biology and your modern environment. Releasing that self-blame is a monumental first step. You are not broken. Your rhythm is simply disrupted. So, this leads us to the most important question: what can we do? What specific action can we take after listening to this? It's not about making radical, impossible changes overnight. It's about small, strategic, and consistent actions that send the right signals to your master clock. It's about becoming a better friend to your own biology. Let's start with the most powerful signal light. Your goal is to create a strong, clear distinction between day and night for your brain. In the morning, as soon as you can after waking up, get exposed to bright light. The best source is natural sunlight. Go outside for 10 to 15 minutes. Don't wear sunglasses. Let that morning light hit your retinas. This is the single most effective way to anchor your circadian rhythm for the day. It's like hitting the reset button and telling your master clock, "Good morning. The day has officially begun." If you live in a place with dark winters or you wake up before the sun, a light therapy lamp that provides 10,000 lux can be a fantastic substitute. This one action can have a profound effect on your energy levels during the day and your ability to sleep at night. Now for the other side of the coin, darkness. As the evening progresses, you need to start signaling to your brain that the day is ending. This is where we fight our biggest modern battles. 2 to 3 hours before your desired bedtime, begin to dim the lights in your home. Use warm, low wattage bulbs instead of bright, overhead, cool toned lights. And this is the big one. You have to manage your screen exposure. The blue light from phones, tablets, computers, and televisions is a potent melatonin suppressing signal. If you must be on a screen, use night mode settings that warm up the color temperature. Even better, wear a pair of blue light blocking glasses. They might look a little strange, but these glasses can be a game changer, effectively creating a bubble of virtual darkness for your brain, even in a lit room. The best strategy of all? Put the screens away an hour before bed. Read a physical book. Listen to calming music. Talk with your partner. Meditate. Create a screen-free sanctuary for your wind-down period. Let's talk about timing, because it's not just about light. Your body's clocks also respond to when you eat and when you exercise. Try to keep your meal times relatively consistent from day to day. Your digestive system works best during the daytime. Try to consume the majority of your calories earlier in the day and have a lighter dinner. Crucially, try to stop eating at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. This gives your digestive system and liver a chance to finish their work so they can go into their nighttime repair mode along with the rest of your body. Giving your body a 12-hour overnight fast, say, from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., is a powerful way to reinforce your circadian rhythm. Exercise is fantastic for sleep, but timing matters. A vigorous workout in the morning or afternoon can help deepen your sleep at night. However, intense exercise too close to bedtime can raise your core body temperature and cortisol levels, making it harder to fall asleep. A gentle, restorative yoga session or some light stretching in the evening is fine, but save the high-intensity stuff for earlier in the day. Now, I want to speak directly to the true night owls and shift workers, because I know hearing all this can feel discouraging. You might be thinking, this is impossible for me. My job requires me to be awake at 2 a.m. under bright fluorescent lights. You are in the toughest position, and it's important to acknowledge that. But even for you, there are mitigation strategies. The principles are the same. You're just applying them to a different schedule. If you work the night shift, your day begins when you wake up in the evening, and your night begins when you get home in the morning. When you finish your shift and the sun is rising, you need to trick your brain into thinking it's nighttime. This is where those blue light blocking glasses become non-negotiable. Wear them on your commute home. Make your bedroom a veritable cave of darkness. Use blackout curtains, wear a high-quality eye mask, and cover any little electronic lights. Keep the room cool and quiet. Protect your sleep period as if it were the most precious thing in the world, because for your health, it is. When you wake up in the afternoon or evening, that's your morning. Expose yourself to bright light immediately, using a light therapy box if necessary, to signal to your brain that your day has started. Try to keep your sleep and wake times as consistent as possible, even on your days off. It's incredibly difficult, but trying to flip back to a normal schedule on your days off creates a state of chronic social jet lag that is brutal on your system. I want to encourage a moment of reflection for everyone listening. Think about your own rhythm. When do you feel most energetic? When do you feel that afternoon slump? What are your evening habits? Without judgment, just observe. Are you sending your body clear signals, or are you living in a state of perpetual twilight, with a little bit of light, a little bit of food, a little bit of activity at all hours? This isn't about achieving perfection. It's about progress. It's about making one small change. Maybe this week, you commit to getting 10 minutes of morning sunlight. Maybe you decide to put your phone away 30 minutes before bed. Maybe you try a pair of blue light blocking glasses. These small actions, compounded over time, can help your internal orchestra find its rhythm again. They can help you reclaim a sense of balance and well-being that you may have thought was lost. The story of our circadian rhythm is a profoundly human story. It's a story of our ancient connection to the natural world and our modern struggle against it. It evokes feelings of fatigue and frustration, but also of awe at the intricate beauty of our own biology. It connects us through the shared experience of feeling off and the universal desire to feel healthy, vibrant, and whole. The anticipation I hope you feel now is not one of fear, but of curiosity. A curiosity to explore your own rhythms, to experiment with these small changes, and to see how much better you can feel. You are the conductor of your life, but you must also honor the ancient music written into your cells. By understanding the score, by listening to the needs of your orchestra, you can begin to guide your body back into a beautiful, life-sustaining harmony. It's a journey back to yourself, a dance as old as time, waiting for you to rejoin. If you'd enjoyed this episode, please visit our website at Deszicakes.com. Thanks for joining me on Unfiltered Reflections. Until next time, be kind to yourself, keep exploring, and remember, you are worthy, you are seen, and you are loved.